So I guess we're back on the H-1B visas today, guys. Listen, I am for it. I've always liked the concept of it. I even spoke on it probably about 6 months ago, pretty in depth, kind of regarding it. And apparently, Elon Musk also likes the idea of this, along with Vivek. So let's see where this goes, guys. The name of the video is Trump sides with Elon Musk on H-1B visas following criticism. A great program. All right, let's do it. That's intriguing, guys. I thought he was going to just follow the kind of overwhelming base on this one here, but I'm definitely glad he's following some type of like independent thought in this context here, guys. Let's continue.
Well, yesterday, you guys know we had quite a few discussions on the debate that's raging online right now about H-1B visas. And Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, coming out saying, hey, we need this, our country needs this, our companies need this, we need this to have this technological advantage over China and other countries. And other people saying, I'm not so sure. A lot of those H-1B visas are for coding, and they're sort of the grunt work of the tech industry. And there's a lot of Americans who would like those jobs, and we should be working on training them instead of replacing them.
Like, I mean, listen, I love the idea of that. What she said here is valid, I think, right? But it needs to happen right now. So do you already have the qualifications for that job, or is it something that you're going to have to receive over time? Because if it's a receive over time thing, then what are we going to do about right now?
With foreign workers who presumably will do it for cheaper. So that's the debate that's raging. And in the midst of that, someone has found a quote from Donald Trump where he says he backs H-1B visas. Now, that would be contradictory to what he has said in the past. We'll have to get to the bottom of that. But here's what he said on this. He said, the New York Post reported on Saturday, he said, I've always liked the visas. I've always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I've been a believer in H-1B. I've used it many times. It's a great program.
You know, this is I think, as we talked about yesterday, such an important debate. It's happening entirely among Republicans and within Trump world. And obviously, what he is talking about here is the fact that, you know, he's obviously defending the program. But what I also think is sort of interesting is that he put into place in his first term a lot of restrictions that protected the program, that reformed the program. And of course, one of the first things Joe Biden did, including opening the border wide open to let lots and lots of unskilled labor into the country that we have no control over, also removed a lot of those reforms to the H-1B visa program so that it was open to widespread abuse.
And in fact, that's what Stephen Miller tweeted back in 2023, talking about the first Trump term and his position.
That's also valid.
On H-1B visas. He said Biden axed Trump admin H-1B reforms, which eliminated its use for cheap labor, raised wages to stop displacement, outlawed substitution, and replaced H-1B lotteries with high-paying offers, which precluded substitutions. Regs were scrapped, and now big tech is replacing Americans.
Yeah, the problem is, guys, when it comes to like the highest paying offer wins, most of the people who can do that are just going to try to come in through some type of like golden visa. They do not need a H-1B visa at all, bro. That's just a reality of the situation here.
So Trump weighs in yesterday suggesting he supports H-1B visas. Now, in the past, he has looked for reforms to H-1B visas.
Yeah, you can reform it.
On the surface, this issue I don't think has as deep a divide on the right as one might initially perceive. Meaning, I think a lot of people on the right, including obviously Donald Trump and then Elon Musk, support the idea of bringing in whatever percentage it may be, 0.01%, whatever the number is, of highly, highly skilled people from across the world. The idea of bring your best. But the program can't be abused to box American workers out. That's been the perspective in the past of Donald Trump. And I suspect it will be the position of Donald Trump in the future. But the debate got deeper and it got more contentious on the cultural level. And for example, that's where I took some exception to what I thought Vivek Ramaswamy made a too sweeping indictment of American culture.
Oh,
Elon,
yeah? Let's go.
By the way, weighed in immediately after Trump.
Pretty.
Yeah, they're definitely tap dancing, guys, around their base for some reason. Instead of speaking fluidly, they are making sure they watch every single word, not to offend. That's kind of what I'm getting from this guy here, right here speaking, and this guy speaking. They're both doing it. It's an intriguing thing to actually see happening in real time, specifically coming from this network. It's the weirdest thing in the world, guys. Just say what you mean here, all right? The H-1B visa is a great program. It's always been a great program. It is a way for immigration to not be illegal, okay? And that's what I suspected, at least the entirety of the time. I may be wrong here, correct me here. I figured the complaint was, all right, the illegal nature of the immigration. That was a complaint, not the no immigrants ever type of thing. That's a weird one for me personally. But guys, keep this in mind. The H-1B visa is really going to be mainly for seasonal work, specifically on the border towns, agriculture, these type of things. That's going to be the main, right, consumer, let's say, of H-1B visas.
Pretty soundly, by the way.
Pretty soundly. Well, Elon, this is a quote from Tropic Thunder. He's memeing. Remember Tropic Thunder with
I don't know,
Robert Downey Jr.
Can we actually read the entire?
I don't know if we can do it. Let's try.
Let's try. Okay, where is it?
Let's do it. This is what Elon put on X. He said, "The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B." Go ahead, Charlie. You can quote Tropic Thunder.
You can take a big step back and have fun with yourself in the face.
Yes. So that's what he said. He obviously feels very strongly about it. Listen, I want to get into the cultural stuff, but before that, remember...
That also should be very loud. Because generally, if you ever follow this here, people don't want to ever admit this thing, but it's pretty true. A lot of people use programs when they're young and when they're just starting out. And then by the time they reach some certain level of success or whatever it is, guys, they immediately kind of close the door behind them because they're just like, no, that program is wasteful. But you utilized it. You utilized it to get to where you are. Let someone else now utilize that same program to get to where they need to be, to your level, right? And so what's interesting about that, and why I say this is very telling, is because Elon Musk is one of the richest people. How about this? The richest reported person, let's say, because we don't ever speak about anyone outside the West, because there are a couple of them that are trillionaires, guys. But that's not the point. Normally, these type of individuals immediately want that door closed, immediately. Elon Musk is not. So that's what allows me to then say internally, I have no problem with this man running Doge. I have not a single issue, okay? Because of that statement that he made here, guys. I'm telling you. He utilized H-1B. He recognizes the value in it and says, you know what? Listen, other people need to use it also.
Context about a lot of people were upset about the H-1B visas were that famous story of Disney. Do you guys remember that? Where Disney was going to lay off these workers. These were some sort of software workers. And then they said, listen, we're going to lay you off and you will not get your severance unless you train the people that come in. These were, foreign workers on this type of visa. And so that really upset a lot of Americans. And I believe that was the context around the conversation about abuses. And
I think the anger then most likely was incredibly misplaced. If you don't like the concept of that, then you cannot back the concept of all of the other corporation first concepts that people spew. If that makes any sense here, guys, because a corporation is always going to be a corporation. They're going to be a corporation. It is about profit margins, et cetera, et cetera. It is not about your feelings. So if you don't like that, then you need to figure out how we need to deal with corporations at large scale instead of arguing with the people that are going to be benefiting from it, right? The H-1B visa. Maybe you should change the way corporations or how much access corporations have to the overall importance of your daily lives, if that's the case, because you're misplacing your anger slightly, right? Because you can't say corporations, yay, but then be confused when they're being corporations.
And lots of people are weighing in on both sides of this. Obviously, Vivek and Elon very strongly on the side of getting more H-1B visas, saying that we won't be competitive. The cultural side,
we won't be competitive.
I think is fascinating. Will and Charlie, I guess Vivek saying he thinks that we need to our culture has a
She's
problem
dancing.
with.
Go ahead, dance.
Not prizing enough those who are valedictorians academically,
Because Vivek is right. He's right completely when he said this. He's completely right. We do not value intelligence. I've said this every single time we talk about this here. I can literally tell you what works and what doesn't work in terms of media, based off of uploading more than about 6,000 videos, 7,000 videos throughout all of my channels. Right? I can tell you this right now. Education is on the back burner of the majority of the people that view this channel specifically. They watch this type of thing exclusively. Education, ew, who needs that?
Succeeding versus those who are the prom queens and the quarterbacks, I guess.
What I think they kind of wandered into, and neither Vivek nor Elon Musk, I think, appreciate sort of the nuances and just how what a sore spot this is for a lot of Americans. Because of course it wasn't just Disney. You could go through, in every industry going back 30 years. And find examples of
corporations being corporations.
American workers were forced to train their replacements as they unbolt their machinery and send it to China. One thing I have to say though that I think is interesting, Steve, I've known Steve Miller since back when he was on Capitol Hill working for
Sessions,
for Jeff Sessions, and he's always been one of the smartest people and most devoted to reforming immigration. And there are few people that I know who know more about this and care more about it, which of course is why Trump values him so much.
Right.
And if there's a guy that understands where that line is between valuing the best of the best, the cream of the crop from other places, and finding a way to use them in America, versus just looking for cheap labor,
right?
Because all of it is
you keep calling it cheap labor, but that's not really the case.
Kind of geared towards looking for cheaper labor.
Right.
Cheaper
labor. Charlie, nobody's against importing another Elon Musk.
Right.
We'll take
they've said this so many times. I think they believe it.
If there are Americans who can do the job, let's have that.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, be fully aware. I think that if you have, if you have Americans that are actually qualified to do the job, then why not hire the Americans? There's no one is saying anything other than that, right? But if you start to realize that people are not going into specific fields, but yet other countries are just churning out these type of individuals, right? So, for example, guys, I live half the year in Spain, okay? And I can tell you, for some reason, everyone is an engineer. Like, everyone that I encountered seems to have some type of crazy degree. Like, everyone. Well, keep this in mind. That's what happens when education is free, right? That's another thing. When education is free, people tend to utilize that. Like, so in America, people are like, oh yeah, I finished high school. Who cares? Like that, but in Spain, it seems like every single I've not met a person that does not at least have some type of bachelor's in something. I've not met a person. I mean that. Minimum. That's like the minimum requirement. Here it's high school, there it's bachelor's. Example, and like everyone is like an architect, engineer, and then they get these free degrees in Spain. Let's say free. They're not free. They're not like free. Let's say, because my wife yelled at me, "Stop saying the education is free." I'm sorry, $1,000. Apologies. Oh, what am I thinking? Compared to $500,000, let's say. But the point is here, guys. All of these people have degrees. They value education. Right, like some of the most intriguing people for women specifically are going to be educated individuals coming from Spain, educated Spanish men, versus, unfortunately, a lot of the times here, the quarterback, the cool kid that is rebellious and rambunctious and in high school is the one who's willing to get all of the girls, guys. That person has no future. They have no future, and if we keep making that so for example, the reason why I'm saying this here, women in this context, is because men do a lot of things for women. Men basically exist for women. So if women started liking, I think Vivek said Steve Urkels, the Steve Urkels and the Screeches, okay, then guess what would happen to the society? Okay, I'm telling you. What do you think happens instantly and immediately? The only reason why men own houses is to take care of their family. If not, men would have a gigantic warehouse to put their cars in with one bed on the floor, bro. Men don't care about that stuff, right? So if you want to solve the problem and make it so Americans are going to consistently qualify for things like this, right? Make education important, okay? Make education massively less corporate, and then you'll be able to maintain a couple of things. At the very least, give everyone a bachelor. At the very least, the same price that they pay for high school is what they should be paying for their college degree. And we can't afford these things. Are you sure? Are you sure we can't? Richest country in the history of the earth, guys. We can't afford this. But we're spending too much on defense. We have turned ourselves into the world police to the point where we now have to police the world. Bro, why are we doing that? Why? And if that's the case, then, and if we have so much money in surplus, also to now give to other foreign nations that have never paid into our tax code, taxes are too high. You see what I'm saying here, guys? Our taxes are high so we can give money to other places. I don't want to do that. I want to opt out of that. If I can opt out of that and save 40% yearly, I'd be happy. A lot of people would be happy, right? Maybe we'd stop complaining about things. But guys, at the same time here, you can't complain that corporations are basically being corporations if you worship a corporation, right? They're always going to look for some type of something to make them more money. They're in fact going to do that. Oh, you have been here for 10 years and we're paying you, I don't know, $80,000. Well, how about this? We can hire some other people and pay them the starting wage. And they can make it up to that point. And when they get up to 80, we'll find some more people. Bro, it's about profits. All right. We are in inflation, but yet all these corporate, listen, guys, we are in a inflationary environment, a terrible economy, but yet all of these corporations are making record profits. All right. Understand what this is, guys. Everyone is taking advantage of us. Everyone. And even the people that say they aren't, and they're representing gigantic swaths of the left or the right, the establishment, let's say, right? Bro, they don't care. They're getting a cut. That's what their donor money is. Bro, listen, stop playing. Okay? If you want change, we have to actually change things. That's it. All right? We have to actually change things and make things more reasonable to the actual citizens that are paying into this ridiculous tax code that is so high that we have enough money to fund other nations. Okay, that we have enough money to allow illegal immigration to basically proliferate in all of our gigantic cities. Okay, and these people are getting money. They're sending money back to their country. Now that money is so large, it's showing up as remittance on their GDPs, guys. So we are in interesting times here. All right, we are in oddly, weirdly interesting times. I'm sick of it. Okay. But all right, listen, guys. You guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. This is just my frustration. I'm venting now. All right. I'll catch you guys later. This is my lightsaber. Hey, guys. You guys subscribe to the other channels. Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.